absolutely love when I make a trade and then walk away and come back and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. And I'm like, oh, my balance increased. That's wonderful.
All right. Well, hey, we are back and welcome everyone. Our live stream is live, and you've got Michael, Mike, Stephen, and myself, Don LaPlume here, and we are just going to go through all kinds of fun stuff today. But I'll tell you, this is all about our quest, our learning forex, and going from a quarter to $1 million. So a quarter being $250. So 250 up to $1 million in Forex, only through Forex, but by learning Forex. We're all rookies. And so what we're doing is we're sharing our journey. We're sharing what we're learning, the good and the bad. And when we make mistakes or we lose, well, you know what? We're sharing it. When we win, we're sharing it. So this is not this is not recommendations. This is not financial advice. This is literally us documenting our journey, and that is it. But hopefully you enjoy it and you do learn some great things from it. And so with that, Mike, you look like you've already pulled up the news.
Yeah. So here's one thing I mentioned. I pulled up this site the other day also, but I've been looking at Market Watch. It focuses on the US. And all I do is give it a quick brief. It does it for the week, but I'll look at the day and say, what do I care about today for the US?
Yeah.
Because the US is my primary market, with Euro being second. But I'll take a look at it here and just say, okay, here's what I care about. Great. What's the times? 8:30 I care, 10, and then 3. So those are the times I care about today. Then bounce over to here. Sorry, I'm looking over here because it's on a screen to my side. But now we got right here, we have the orange folder at 8:30 on unemployment claims. That was good. Okay, so again, if we click on it, actual less than forecast is good for the currency. Okay, while last month was 190, they were expecting it to be 205, and it was actually only 200. So it's still an increase over last month, but it was below forecast. So that's why it's good for the economy, even though it increased. Besides that, there's a whole bunch of yellow folders in here. On the euro side, we had some good, positive, negative, neutral, slightly positive. And then again, this is just preliminary unit labor costs. I mean, this is just showing what people are willing to pay for labor. And it's gone, it was at 2.6. It was a little bit below to 2.3. It was 4.4. So again, this is just stuff we're paying attention of. Natural gas storage is coming out in just under 5 minutes. Again, not a orange or red folder, but just to be aware of it. Yellow folder, it can have a slight impact. We jump over to FinViz, which is where we go next. Two things. Number one, it looks like a deal has been reached to open a Strait of Hormuz. Obviously,
I'm sorry. I'm
I know,
laughing.
I know, but that's what's being published, so therefore that's what the market pays attention to. So, needless to say, just keep an eye on that. But
Yeah.
that's one of the reasons why the euro's been going up.
Right.
Um, so again, a bunch of news in here. Again, nothing that I'm gonna dive in and it's gonna have crazy chains. I haven't had a lot of alerts today based on what I've set up, but I did have a few observations. Finally, I just go to this right here, which is trading economics. Take a quick peek right here and just taking a look around the world. I am U.S. job cost rates rise to 3-month high. Okay, great. So I'll read that. Besides that, I'm pretty much moving on to news and markets and just taking a quick peek as to what it says, as well as over here. Here's your indexes. There's your Forex. So you can see the Euro USD is up 0.19%, 0.2%. And it just gives you basically that news that I was pointing out. Here's just a brief blurb on it, on some of it that we just saw. So just another good site to take a look at. But if I go back to here, so on Euro USD, I have an alert set up right here, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I got a nice little ride here yesterday, which was great and did well.
That's a
Yes,
beautiful ride.
yeah, I didn't take it all the way up, but I took it to where did I take it to? I took it to about here, right around this area. And then yesterday I got in on this here and took that down to about here and did well too, right till it fitted close right below the 10. And then I got out when it was at the 10 because I was expecting it to bounce off the 10.
Hmm.
But I received the notification right here that the 10 had crossed the 20. So I observed that, although I didn't see anything that really correlated when I looked at the RSI and I looked
Okay.
at everything else that was going on. So I didn't jump in on that. However, this morning I got an alert that the 10 had just crossed the 20 again. And when I looked at this, there's a little bit of an observation. If you scroll back a little bit, the 66 had crossed the 200 earlier too.
Yeah.
I just missed that initially. But that means we have an E3 cross with 10, 20, 66, 200. So I got in on that and did well.
Excellent. Yeah,
I
that's
got
a
in on that.
great
Yeah.
signal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So that was what? 177, 250 pips, 244. Sorry, 214
Good.
pips. 214 pip win.
Well done.
Yep. So that was a good one. And that was one of them ones, but just again, I'm finding a major benefit, major, and I can't begin to stress the word major. If you are charting between 5 and 6, and
That's 5 and 6 a.m. Eastern time, by the way.
yeah, yep. And I'm not saying everyone has to do this, but I am on a different, I feel like I'm on a different level this week when I've done that. So I've
What
had,
do you think the difference is?
well, first of all, I am charting Heikinashi. I'm
Mm-hmm.
copying something I saw Donnie doing. So I'm charting Euro USD, gold, and Bitcoin. That's it.
Okay.
And I am charting the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. Period. In that order. I start with the daily, then I go the daily for each pair. I go daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, and I start with Euro USD, and then I go to gold, and then I go to Bitcoin last. I think it's just that in that mode in the morning, number one, I'm not doing 100 other things, so I'm laser focused on this and this only
Mm-hmm.
during that time period. I think that's part of it. I'm not gonna lie, I do have 4 screen going, so that does not hurt me too bad right now. But
I thought you were going to say you had 4 kids going. So
no,
Yeah.
I do. I do.
They're not there at that time. That's why.
No, they're upstairs and doing their thing and whatever. And one's in Hawaii still for a week. But needless to say, actually, she went swimming with Galapagos sharks last week and has some
Okay.
great pictures. Yeah,
Wow, nice.
just free snorkeling or diving with them, and it's pretty funny because I was like, well, "What happens if a tiger shark comes by?" She's like, "Well, the diver, the lead instructor, makes a T shape with his hands or with his arms." She's like, "And we all have to get in a line so the shark thinks we're bigger size than he is." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
And that's supposed to comfort a father. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I'm just like, I'm like, have a fun, babe. I'm like, have fun. You just be you. You enjoy.
Yeah, I would think it's if I was a shark, I would think that oh, there's a whole big school of guppies there. Let's go get 'em.
Exactly.
But hey,
But
whatever. If it works, that's all that matters.
exactly. She's just again living her best life. So needless to say, yeah. So I think that I'm seeing that, and then because I'm getting alerts a lot. If I actually go back to here for a second, and I see when my alerts come in, I mean,
Yeah.
you see a little bit 3 a.m., 3 a.m., 3:03, 3:15, 3:13. And you see the alerts are on the VIX, the dollar index, Euro USD, and oil. Actually, I'm not trading oil right now, but oil did have that cross. And then if I look at yesterday, this is the main alert that I added, by the way. That's actually, I think, been helping me a lot this week too. And this is based on a conversation that we had with Donnie last week, where Donnie had said there are people out there who trade just the 10 crossing the 20. Now, as I've previously stated, that I am not comfortable trading just the 10 crossing the 20, but the 10 crossing the 20 with additional confirmation, especially 2 other confirmations, I'm very comfortable with that. 1 other confirmation, I'm sometimes comfortable. 2, I'm very comfortable. But you can see the time. I mean, this is 10:14 in the evening, 9 p.m. in the evening. And then if I go back, go back to the beginning of yesterday. 12 a.m., 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3:30, 5 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m., 7:40. So as all these are going off, I already have everything charted for the day. So as I'm getting these alerts, I can now start taking a look at them. And I think I started on this day. Let me kind of go back to the beginning here. Yeah, on May 5th. 6:42, there's a bunch of alerts that I'm getting
Yeah.
on that 10 crossing, and it's typically somewhere in that 5 to 7:30 time frame.
Interesting.
And I
Well,
don't know if that is periodic or if that is something that's frequent.
yeah. Well,
But
it's trackable though.
it is, and look at this. So at that time frame, Tokyo just closed. So Tokyo has just closed their market, and London's been open since about 2:30 a.m. our time. But London's in its swing of things, and New York hasn't started yet. So it's primarily the London market that is the moves there, where everything's happening. And that's what I was taking a look at, is I was trying to see, what's happening in that time frame. I said I saw around that 1 p.m., that 1 a.m. time frame as well. Well, that's when Sydney's closing and Tokyo's like 3/4 through its day or 2/3 through its day. In that 1 a.m. time frame for us, for people in Eastern time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm trying to find trends and I'm trying to find correlations, but I will say that I've been more comfortable, more better off, and done much better this week on that. I will tell you that what was it? Tuesday morning? Monday was actually not a great day for me. I had a very good Monday morning and a very bad Monday afternoon due to the volatility. I had decisions that I made that I firmly stand behind 90% of them. But looking back on it, as I mentioned, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but I'm now changed to a point where I'm not going to get in after I have $100 to $250 worth of wins for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I am not doing anything unless I love it and I have either 3 plus confirmations or I have 2 extremely strong, like glaring confirmations. But I'm no longer going off just seeing something and trying to jump in front of it. And because while I would say my win rate doing that's probably max 50%, and that's just not a ratio I'm willing to play in. I thought it was lower than that, but it actually is around 50%. But the problem is often my losses are because of the risk on it, the risk tolerance in the risk ratio. My losses have sometimes negated my big gains, and I'm just not willing to do that anymore.
And that's a good decision to have made.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, and being 50-50, you don't want to be, because first of all, at best, that's treading water. And
Right.
when you have losses that are larger than your gains, well, even though you have the percentage wise, it might be 50-50. If the losses are larger than the gains are, you're still losing. So you really have to have that positive ratio, 60, 70, 80%. I like the 70, 80% plus. And now it's like you to get to 100%, I don't know that that's possible. But I've never believed in impossibilities either. So let me just put that on the table. But I don't know how the heck we'd ever get to 100%. I haven't figured that part out. But to get to 70%, and especially when you can tailor your losses so they're not much larger than your gains.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been my challenge, by the way. And I've worked to reduce my losses. But still, if I look, I've had percentage-wise, I've had a lot more gains. But when I look at the overall dollars, I haven't, because I've had bigger losses. And still today, even just this week, I've had bigger losses than I have gains, but I've had more gains. That's making sense, right?
It does. And one of the things I just want to add to it too is part of the reasons why my losses are bigger is because my confidence has grown in my decisions and my confidence is there. So as my confidence grows, I'm not doing 0.02, I'm doing 0.5 or 0.1, 0.05 or 0.1 or 0.2 lot size for gold.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, that same loss that used to cost like $20 is now costing $200.
Yeah.
So with that being said, the wins that were $10 are now like $150. So it's just understanding that, and I think and that's why I've done a lot of it on what I've started doing. If I'm speculating or if I'm testing a theory, I'm only using demo. I'm not even considering using real money. And I did use real money for a couple. But I regretted doing that.
Yeah, if you're doing anything experimental, do it on demo. Do it on paper trading, because
I did it experimental. I did it speculating, but I was pretty darn confident that and what I did again was right. It just didn't have the balance to support a significant pullback, bigger than anticipated, bigger than double the ATR, slightly bigger. And then the second it went below double the ATR, it shot up like 450 pips.
Oh
So
my
like my decision was right for my entry. My entry was right. Everything was right except for the fact that I couldn't withstand because my stop loss and my risk ratio said, no, we're getting out at this point. Which again, I should have had less than that. So I should have got out earlier and then waited for it to pull back. And that's something I've learned too. Is if I'm not comfortable carrying that balance and I want to trade gold, we'll set gold just to the ATR instead of double the ATR, or set it to even less than that, to something that I'm comfortable with. And if it drops back, understand that you're just going to take the loss here. But now you wait for it to pull back to the point where now you can re-enter. That's okay.
So yeah, not yesterday, a couple days ago, I did a trade, and actually you and I were in the same trade. I think it was on Euro USD. Could have been gold. I don't remember it right now. It doesn't really matter. But what
part of this?
What's that?
I think it was part of this dip right here. I think we got in on one of these. We got in on one of these right here.
Yeah, we both anticipated it was going to go up.
Yep.
So we took a buy, and I had a significant stop loss. Like it was down there. It was more than double the ATR. And I'm like, okay, great. I've got plenty of room. I'll handle it. It got close to my stop loss once, and I actually dropped my stop loss just a little bit more because I was so confident it was going to go up, and it didn't. It kept coming down and coming down, and it took me out. So it took out my even larger stop loss.
Yep.
So
this was it right here, 9 a.m. on Monday.
Yep, that sounds about right.
This is it, because it took it up. The TP that we were going for
66 at the time.
Yeah, and the 66 was not that low. The 66 was like up here.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, it came down, as you can see here, and I think your stop loss was around here.
Yes, it was when I had adjusted it. It was.
And then we had this wick just shoot down and come back up. But again, the decision was sound.
Yeah,
got in right here, and it shot way the hell up here. So the decision for it to go up wasn't wrong. Again, the ability to withstand, and this is what I'm showing here, the ability to withstand this. So if we go to, where's a long position. So it had to withstand this. Well, let me zoom out of this a little bit to kind of show the full opportunity here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just look at that.
Yeah, I would risk that amount anytime to take that gain.
Yep.
Yeah.
But our trade looked like that. That's what it ended up being. So again, the idea was right. Einstein was right, just not for that time frame.
Yes.
Right. So what we actually did is we traded about, let's call it this. I got stomped out of this too, and I think it was right around here. So that was the trade. That's how it looked when we set it up.
Yeah.
But this is the part that people need to understand. It's like, we talk about a loss. Yeah, it was a loss, but look at how big that gain could have been. And that's just part of the course, par for the course. The right move was for us to get stomped out right there, wait for that to come in here, and then turn around down here and then take it back up. But that was at what? 1 in the morning.
Right.
So neither one of us was doing that.
Exactly.
But
it's
You-
Go
He
ahead.
said the but, that means not yet.
yeah, I mean, the other thing that you could do on that too, and it wouldn't have impacted this one, but at this 4-hour support line, which goes back to here. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the low. It's just set an alert that anytime something hits here and bounces off it, take the buy. But that wouldn't have impacted this because it never got that low.
Yeah.
But we did have this again. You have the 10 crossed the 200, 10 crossed the 20 right here. It went up for a little bit. Then it kept on going, and then it crossed the 66, the 200, then it crossed the 66. So the 10 was on fire. So at the latest, this was a brilliant buy right here.
Yep.
And notice Einstein called a sell here, expecting it to turn around. Didn't happen. And this is primarily based on fundamentals, because Monday there was a major concern, and that's what happened right here. Is this move right here happened, and then there was major concern in the Gulf. Did Iran just shoot at 2 U.S. ships? Did Iran actually hit 2 U.S. ships? Why is the U.S. denying it? Why is Iran saying this? And then is the peace deal over? Like that's pretty much what happened on Monday that caused all this.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the thing right now with any trading that somebody does at this time.
Right.
We have to be dealing with fundamentals. Most of the time when we're trading, we can deal in technicals, which is what you're showing here, right? We can look at, where the zones are, where the demand zone is, where the supply zone is, the 10, the 20, we can look at all of this and look at the indicators and say, okay, yes, this is about to go up, and this is going to go for a ride, or it's going to go down, and we can take it down.
Yep.
It doesn't matter because we can make money in either direction. We're good with that, but it's understanding where it's going to go, and the technicals help with that, but fundamentals can flub it up.
Yep. Yep. And as we were talking about before this, my favorite news screen is this. Let's show it really quick. This is spread across 2 monitors. Once this pops through, it takes a split second to load.
There it comes.
We have Euro USD 4-hour, Bitcoin 4-hour, volatility index 4-hour, gold spot 1 hour. Actually, gold. Yeah, it's fine on the 1 hour. Dollar index 4-hour. And then the indices, I have US 30, NAS, and S&P 500. And all the indices are on the 1 hour. So it's just kind of giving a high level view as to what's going on. And also there's some correlation. So as you see the volatility index go up, well, that has a direct impact on gold, or go down.
And I love that. I can't wait for that to be programmed in, but that predictive analysis where you can estimate where the next cross is going to be. That's just ideal for sort of our lives anyways. I know for me, I'm doing meetings all the time. I'm doing other stuff. So if I know that, hey, I've got a cross predicted at, 3 p.m. on Euro USD, well, great. If I've got that time open, I can be ready and watch.
Yep.
For that. But otherwise, my mind could be somewhere completely different, doing something completely different.
I saw one, and that's what I wanted to try to find, and I'm trying to remember which one I saw it on. So let me go to gold. I'll start on the 1 hour. Yeah, that's not a little noisy there. Let me zoom that out. Okay.
That's so funny. So I'm seeing on the stream, I'm seeing your gold, and on my main screen, I was seeing your Euro USD. There's a lag there.
Yeah, I just clicked over. This just happened. That was at 6 a.m.
Okay. Look at
You
that.
had an E3 cross. I took that, but I only took it up to here, and I got out. So I hit. That's another one I had for today on gold. Took that one up to right, just about here.
Very good.
And let me check the 4 hour. I did see a cross. That might have been it though. No, this. So you have the 20 heading up right here is going to be crossing the 66. The question is the 66 going to cross the 200? And it doesn't look like that's going to happen anytime soon. But that's something I just wanted to flag and watch, because that's at this part right here. Is that like this afternoon? At some point this afternoon, probably around 3 to 4 p.m. So if this happens here and that shoots straight up, if that's 4 p.m. and that's going to be right around 9 p.m. So in that 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. time frame, you could have the 20 cross the 66 and the 200. The only thing we'd like to see for it to be ideal, that's still a strong indicator, by the way, a very strong indicator, but because the 10's already above it as well. What we want to see, does the 66 cross the 200 any point soon or start to turn up? If you look at the RSI's up around 75, so it's not exhausted yet, but it's approaching.
Yeah, it is getting there, but you're right, it's not there quite yet.
I thought there was one more.
And it's funny because Jerome was just following right along.
Yep. Yeah, the daily's still strong on this, but I like the way the daily looks in terms of my chart here. So this was another one too on the daily, where you could have the 10 crossing the 20 right here on, it's saying next Friday, but that just means just to pay attention next week. Because if that 10 crosses the 20, that's a very strong indicator. And then we have 20 crossing the 66 somewhere around early June.
Yeah, and the only challenge with that is, and I just got to say this, a lot of that predictive analysis is really looking at the trends and the technicals. So a lot of that right now is being driven by events in the world, and so that's going to change.
Right.
So it's definitely something to watch, but I think it's going to be all over the place, especially this next week, I think, because whether they're really getting close to an end or whatever happens, who knows? I mean, next thing you know, we could be bombing again, right? I mean, who knows? So somebody might know, but I don't know. We can all only guess, right? So, and you don't want to guess when you're trading, right? That would dramatically change the direction. I mean, right now gold's going up. When we've had, it's funny because when we've had some of the when the bombing was going on before, and all of the destruction, everything that was happening, it didn't seem, at first it seemed like it affected gold more, and then it wasn't affecting gold as much.
Right.
I think people just get used to it, and the emotion sort of came out of it. But now I think it would be emotional again.
Yep, I agree with that.
Right.
The other thing. Sorry, I was going to say on the time frames. That's it. That I agree. When I'm looking at a daily time frame, and I'm looking at a predictive analysis, you're right. Fundamental is can impact everything, as we've talked about extensively with regards to the current volatility. But that just is giving you that time, that general ballpark to make sure that you're looking for that. Now, with that being said, as you drop down to the 1 hour, now that's stuff you can start paying attention to today, because that's really relevant to the last hour or the last few hours, depending on which candle. I mean, depending on the crosses.
Yes.
But that's where, I mean, I start with the daily, this, and then go to the 4 hour, and then go to the 1. Your focus goes like 10,000 feet, 5,000 feet to like 500 feet.
Exactly. Yes.
What were you going to say, Stephen?
No, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. Yeah, so this is I kind of mentioned it the other day, but just to show one more time, I'll go on that daily right here, and I'll mark up the demand zone, supply zone. I will mark up the support line, which is the lowest from the previous candle, and the resistance line, which is the high from the previous candle. That's something that Donnie does on Bitcoin, but I started doing it on all the pairs, and it has held a couple of times. So it hasn't been defied, put it like that. It's been a good indicator that I can use to know where it starts and stops. Another thing I started doing today was I started putting in support line and low from May 4th at 12 p.m.
Yeah.
Why? Because I was just curious as to how old it's from. Because there were some that were going back to, not on this one right here, but April 22nd, April 20th, right here.
Interesting. Yeah.
So it's more just being aware of
So
how old they are.
we know that if you've got a zone and it's broken 3 times, it's gone.
Yep.
You know, or it could be flipped, right? You know,
Yep.
but even when we're charting highs and lows, we're charting highs and lows basically the past 14, 15 days, past 2 weeks.
Yep.
Right. So we do it on the 15th and we do it on the 1st, thereabouts, right? But how old is too old? On
So
some of these? Are they?
I leave it. I leave it until it's broken. Because that's data.
Yeah.
Like, to me, if I have nothing above or below, I'm just leaving the line until you break it. And then if you break a 2-month-old line, yeah, it's gone pretty quick. But I mean, until then, I have no data at that point. And as Donnie always says too, once you get to that point where there's nothing below, look to the left.
All right, you were saying that my dad brain was coming in, dad joke time, thinking about bull in a china shop, and you know, we've got bulls here, and you're gonna break it. So
Yep.
I don't know. That's just where my head went. Sorry.
To make a smash sound whenever you break one of the lines.
There you go. Exactly. we can do that. Breaking glass, whatever. So
I'd be able to keep that for about an hour, and then I'd have to get rid of it because then it would drive me crazy.
Well, I don't know if some of those are been there since April 20th.
Yeah.
You know, so
that's it. There you go. You could use it for the more impactful ones that have been around for a while, where it's like it's a statement break.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, but so I mean, like I also right now on this will take the daily and I will make it visible on the 4-hour when I'm first charting, just to see where the stronger zones are.
Mm-hmm.
And so one thing I did start doing occasionally, that I'm going to just make this visible quickly here.
See, I've been doing a lot with that because it drove me crazy having all of my different time zones or times that are on every chart. I had to adjust it.
Yep. So I'm not going to allow it on the 1, but I'm going to put it on the 4. And then if I go back to the 4 here, we have this overlap at the top, but that's not as good of an example. I think I cleared out my stuff from yesterday. Let me see. Do I have a daily one on Euro I can show that's better? Well, bottom line is I'm going to just show you what I've been doing rather than kind of go through it. Let's just pretend that let me go back to the 4-hour. Let's pretend that this demand zone right here was stronger, or this one down here. Let's pretend this was like a 4-hour within a daily. If it's a 4-hour in a daily or something like that where it's extra strong, I will do this. I'll go in and I'll do style and I'll take background and I'll change transparency to 75. And then it turns up like that down the bottom there.
I like that. Never thought of that, but that makes sense.
And that's just how, when I have like that overlapping zone, I know that one is stronger. And what I was thinking about doing, but I haven't done it yet, is doing 50 if there's double overlap and on the daily and 4-hour, or 4-hour and 1-hour, but doing like 75 for the transparency if it's on the all 3. I haven't got there yet. I'm just doing 2 right now, so I'm just using 75. But I was thinking about it. I just haven't seen it happen a lot.
Yeah.
But
that's a great point. I mean, when you look at strength of a zone.
Yep.
Right, and that's a great way to be able to show that. It's when we're making a decision on a trade, we're looking for certain indicators, and some are stronger than others.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really helps to have that visual. Now, it takes a little bit of extra time to program that in, when you're charting. But if you're charting early, like you're saying, that does give you the time to sort of really focus without interruption and get that done. And now you've got really good data that you're looking at all throughout the day.
Yep. And one other thing I want to point out here that I noticed a second ago is I see the ATR listed here, and that's listed as part of Einstein because Einstein provides the ATR.
Yep.
Right. But if you see, my RSI is missing.
Yeah.
It was there. It's now missing. This happens sometimes on TradingView. So
Got it.
if I go to indicators, and I click on these indicator templates right here, these 4 squares.
Yeah.
I can do my E3 predict, and there it is.
There
It's
you go.
back. So that's why you create the template. So you create the template you want. That includes my Einstein scanner. I have my SMA prediction in the order that I want because my OCD kicked in and I want it to be 10, 20, 66, 200. So I want it to be as I want to see it. I have my RSI and I have my RSI set properly. And then what I do on this, I do that. If I wanted to save it, I'd save indicator template and I'd give it a name. But that's it. So I'm actually going to star that one. I'm also debating, Johnny keeps the ATR down the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm debating, do I need it? Because all I use it for is the number. And I have the number right here as part of Einstein.
Yeah, I had it before. I got rid of it because I was just using Einstein's. I didn't need it twice.
Yeah.
And most of the time I've got Einstein on the screen, whether there's a call or not, that's different. But I like to have Einstein on the screen because I use the Einstein for my 200, for my 20, and my 66 as well. I just don't use it for the 10. I use the 10 and I'll use other indicators.
Yep. So I'm going to name this one E3 predict because it includes my predicting one. E3 predict. I don't like all caps there. Predict. No ATR.
There you go. Boom.
Save. So now I have that setting. Anytime I go to it, it's because this is something I kept on doing. I kept on going back and adding the RSI, and then going in and making sure it was configured properly, and then kind of just clicked this week and was like, why don't you just create a template? And just click on the template.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there you go, knucklehead. That's why it's there.
It is. That's right. All the key pieces that we need, they all show if you've got Einstein. And by the way, you get Einstein whenever you are part of our quest. So if you're interested in joining us in this quest, turning $250 into $1 million, however long it takes us, right? We're learning. So, and obviously you can tell we're learning, right? We're gaining knowledge. We're also making mistakes, and we're getting some good trades too. But if you want to join us, go to q2am.com and you can fill it out. We'll get back to you as soon as we can, and we'll go from there. So, guys, it is time. Any closing comments, gents?
When I get back to, and I've said this before, is people are looking to make income online. And there's a lot of programs out there that want you to sell something or promote something or recruit somebody. If you learn Forex trading, you don't have to do that. It's just you. You don't have to rely on anybody else. You don't have to sell a product. You just have to learn these fundamentals. And where you're seeing today, 6 months ago, none of us had this or understood it, so that we've advanced. And again, it comes back to my line is if you have the grade level and you graduated kindergarten, you've got the skill set to do it.
Yep.
You just got to take hold. And when you push that button and go live, you'll be transformed.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I was just going to double down on what I said earlier. I mean, what we've learned has been so informative and so, in a way, exciting, in a lot of ways exciting, and just and fun to learn. And you feel like you have control, and you have control globally. It's not just a local thing. You have global comprehension where you could be anywhere and take advantage of all these markets. And with that being said, I truly believe that if I was to spend, I'm going to estimate 30 days consecutively immersing myself and treated it like a 60 hours a week, just focused on it, I don't see a 4.5, 5 weeks in. So let's just call it 300 hours. If I was to put 300 hours in over the course of like a month, I am pretty confident that this would replace my income.
Just pretty wild to think about. That's,
Yes.
when people lose a job, they get laid off, something like that. Sometimes it takes that longer just to get a new gig,
Yep.
get in, right? So that's huge.
And by the way, we saw the labor stats. Just pointing that out for everybody who's looking to get back in. What does it say?
Yes. You're
They're
gonna make
paying
less money.
less. Yep, they're paying less for the same job, significantly less. It was from 4.4 last month to 2.3%.
Yeah, and it had been going up. So
Yep.
interesting. So there's so much, and we could, we'll be back on the news and taking a look at all of that stuff tomorrow. But what you said is key. You could replace your income doing this, but you got to learn it first. You got to practice it first. So hey, with that, we are finished here today, folks. We will be back again tomorrow, approximately 10:15 a.m. thereabouts. And you have a phenomenal and profitable day. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Cheers.